Imagine a YouTube channel, but not just any channel. No vlogs, no tutorials, no gaming, just videos. Hundreds of thousands of them. All of them are exactly 11 seconds long, and they all show the same thing. Red and blue rectangles shifting position, set to jarring electronic tones. This channel is called Webdriver Torso. It appeared in 2013 and started uploading videos at a frantic pace. One every minute, sometimes even faster. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In total, nearly 800,000 videos were uploaded, making it one of the most prolific channels in the platform's entire history. For months, nobody knew who was behind it, or why. Was it a coded message sent by spies, an alien communication test, a recruitment program for a secret organization, or just the strangest glitch the internet had ever seen? Today, we're diving into one of the web's coldest and most baffling mysteries. A puzzle that forces us to ask, what's really going on behind the curtain of the world's largest video platform? The mystery really blew up in 2014, when the online magazine Engadget published an article on the strange phenomenon, bringing it to mainstream attention. Suddenly, web sleuths and internet investigators flocked to the channel, trying to make sense of the endless stream of absurd content. The first thing that stood out was the almost robotic consistency of the uploads. The title of every video was always the same, Aqua, followed by a string of numbers. There was no description. The comments were disabled. The videos themselves were deceptively simple. 10 slides, each 1 second long. On every slide, a red rectangle and a blue rectangle. Their sizes, shapes, and positions changed each time. In the background, a series of 10 computer-generated electronic tones. But it wasn't completely random. Analysts discovered that the rectangles weren't just simple shapes. They were solid blocks of color, layered on top of a complex background. The video quality was surprisingly high, much higher than necessary for simple colored shapes. Faced with this wall of nonsense, one question emerged. What was the point? Why would someone put in so much effort to upload hundreds of thousands of videos that nobody was ever meant to watch? The online community ignited and the theories started flying. When faced with a mystery this opaque, the human imagination has no limits. And the theories about Webdriver Torso range from the plausible to the completely bizarre. Theory number 1, modern-day number stations. The first, and one of the most popular hypotheses, was the idea of number stations. During the Cold War, shortwave radio stations would broadcast strings of numbers read by a synthetic voice. These messages were meant for spies in the field, who had the key to decipher them. For many, Webdriver Torso was the 2.0 version of this system. The red and blue rectangles, their positions, their sizes, and the audio tones. It could all be a complex code, an indecipherable message to the average person, but perfectly clear to its intended recipient. The public nature of YouTube made it the perfect hiding spot, a message hidden in plain sight. Theory number 2, extraterrestrial contact. This is the most sci-fi theory, but it definitely had its fans. Some suggested these videos were an attempt to communicate with an alien intelligence, or worse, a communication between aliens using our own technology. The simple geometric shapes and mathematical sounds could be a universal language, easier for a non-human civilization to decode than spoken words. Theory number 3, an art project, or ARG. Another popular idea was that this was a digital art project or an alternate reality game, ARG, similar to Cicada 3301. The theory was that an artist or a collective was testing the limits of YouTube, creating an absurd and monumental piece to critique our consumption of content. But unlike most ARGs, there were no clues, no entry point, no way to play along. And then, there were the exceptions. Among the hundreds of thousands of identical videos, a few anomalies were discovered. The most famous is a 6-second video showing the Eiffel Tower lit up at night, with a comment posted by the account itself saying, "Mate is highly intelligent." Another, very rare and only visible in France, was a parody of the cartoon Aqua Teen Hunger Force, priced as a paid episode on what was then Google Play. These exceptions proved one thing. Behind the machine, there was human intent. But what was it? The mystery only deepened. For nearly a year, the mystery remained unsolved. Web sleuths continued to analyze every pixel, every sound wave, with no luck. And then the answer dropped. And it was both simple and incredibly disappointing for conspiracy lovers. Several journalists and media outlets, including the BBC, eventually contacted Google directly for answers. And Google responded. In a brief statement, the company put an end to the speculation. Webdriver Torso was in fact one of their channels. Its purpose? Quality control. Basically, to make sure YouTube was running properly, engineers needed to constantly test the platform. To do this, they created a script that generated simple videos with varying characteristics, colors, sounds, movements, and uploaded them to a dedicated channel. By analyzing the quality of the video once it was live, they could check that YouTube's compression and processing algorithms hadn't degraded the original image or sound. If the video on YouTube looked identical to the one they uploaded, everything was fine. If the colors were washed out, the sound was distorted, or the resolution was lowered, it meant there was a bug that needed to be fixed. The red and blue rectangles weren't a secret code. They were just simple, high-contrast visual elements, perfect for detecting the slightest imperfection. The 11-second runtime wasn't some mystical number. It was just a short duration, ideal for quick tests that didn't eat up a lot of resources. Google's explanation was logical, plausible, almost too simple. For many, this answer marked the end of the mystery. Webdriver Torso wasn't the work of spies or aliens, but simply one of the strangest software quality assurance tools ever created. But did that explanation really solve everything? Why was the channel public? Google could have easily run these tests on a private channel. Some think it was a mistake, an internal test channel that was accidentally made public. Others see it as an inside joke from the engineers, a deliberate Easter egg to see how long it would take for the world to notice. And what about the anomalies? The Eiffel Tower video and the Mate is highly intelligent comment. It was later revealed that Mate likely referred to Mate Zaharia, a renowned computer science researcher. It was probably an inside joke, a nod left by an engineer. Google even ended up having fun with the whole affair. If you type Webdriver Torso into the YouTube search bar, the results page will style itself to look just like one of the videos, with a red background and blue rectangles. Ultimately, Webdriver Torso has become a kind of internet legend, a story that reminds us that behind the smooth interfaces and complex algorithms we use every day, there is a massive, strange, and sometimes totally absurd machine at work. It's the ghost in the machine, proof that even in the hyperlogical world of tech, there's room for mystery and weirdness. So is the story of Webdriver Torso a letdown? For those who were hoping for a global conspiracy, maybe. But in another way, the truth is just as fascinating. For a year, the entire world searched for deep meaning in what was essentially just a technical test. We projected our own fears, hopes, and fantasies onto simple colored rectangles. The whole affair is a mirror of our own need to find patterns, to find meaning, sometimes where there is none. Webdriver Torso showed us that the line between a tool and art, between signal and noise, is sometimes incredibly thin. And it leaves us with a fascinating question. How many other Webdriver Torsos are out there on the internet? How many automated systems, bots, and hidden processes are running constantly, right under our noses, without us ever suspecting they exist? So, what do you think of this story? Are you buying Google's explanation, or do you think there's more to it? Let me know in the comments.